How on earth did this happen? It's extraordinary to be waking up to a story of an air crash, which is almost unexplainable. On a clear night over the Potomac River, with visibility perfect, all navigation systems operational, an American Airlines regional jet and a Black Hawk military helicopter have collided near Washington's Reagan National Airport, and the tragic accident has left a nation reeling. With 18 confirmed fatalities so far, rescue operations continuing, terrorism ruled out. As investigators sift through the wreckage and the recorded communications, one question looms large: how did this happen? The American Airlines Bombardier CRJ 701 was on a final approach to runway 33, having departed from Wichita, Kansas, and the Army UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter was conducting a training mission, a routine flight in a heavily monitored airspace around the US Capitol. And air traffic control logs reveal a crucial moment less than 30 seconds before the crash. The tower queried the helicopter crew, asking if they had the approaching plane in sight, and the response remains under scrutiny. And according to preliminary data, the jet was descending at around 140 miles per hour when the helicopter struck it laterally, causing an explosion midair, causing its detonation before both aircraft plummeted into the icy Potomac River, and rescue divers and emergency teams, fighting against time and the frigid waters, have been working tirelessly to retrieve bodies and any possible survivors. In his characteristic fashion, the President, Trump, has taken to social media to pose a blunt question. It was a clear night. The lights on the plane were blazing. Why didn't the helicopter go up, go down, or turn? Why didn't the control tower tell the helicopter what to do instead of just asking if they saw the plane? Actually, Trump is quite right. Those are the questions to be asking. And at first glance, it may seem simplistic, but it echoes concerns raised by aviation experts. The principle of see and avoid applies in these situations, meaning that the helicopter pilot had the primary responsibility to adjust course. Military pilots operating in shared airspace with civilian aircraft are expected to maintain situational awareness and to take evasive action if necessary. But Trump's comment also highlights a troubling aspect of the communication sequence. Why was the tower merely asking for confirmation instead of issuing a directive? Was there a breakdown in protocol, or were controllers assuming the helicopter had visual contact when it didn't? Aviation experts have reacted with a mix of frustration and dismay. Jeffrey Thomas, an industry consultant, said this should never have happened. The United States boasts one of the safest air traffic systems in the world, thanks largely to the Traffic Collision Avoidance System, the TCAS, a technology that enables aircraft to communicate automatically and take evasive maneuvers if collision risks are detected. So why didn't TCAS work here? One possibility is that military helicopters, particularly those operating in training modes, may not always integrate seamlessly with commercial airlines on this system. And if this is the case, the incident could expose a major blind spot in airspace coordination. The disaster eerily recalls the tragic Air Florida Flight 90 crash in 1982, when a Boeing 737 failed to gain altitude and crashed into the 14th Street Bridge before plunging into the Potomac River, killing 78 people. That accident was attributed to pilot error and icy weather, conditions that were not a factor in this latest crash. Yet the imagery of aircraft wreckage in the river again, emergency boats scouring the freezing waters, and distraught families arriving at the airport carries a haunting resonance. It serves as a stark reminder of the thin margin for error in aviation. The crash is also a test for the new president's aviation and defense leadership. The Secretary of Defense Pete Hesketh and Transport Secretary Sean Duffy now face a major crisis. An immediate investigation has been launched, involving both National Transportation Safety Board and military aviation authorities. And additionally, broader questions must arise regarding air traffic control staffing shortages, a concern raised repeatedly by aviation unions. With commercial air traffic at pre-pandemic levels and military operations continuing in restricted airspace, the question has to be, are existing resources sufficient to prevent such tragedies? Cost cutting is not necessarily a saving grace. In the coming weeks, investigators will analyse cockpit voice recorders, transponder data, radar logs to reconstruct the final moments before impact. Was this a human error, a technical failure, a lapse in air traffic control, or, as Trump suggests, a failure of basic aviation judgment? What remains undeniable is that this disaster should never have happened. In an age of precision aviation and high-tech collision avoidance systems, two aircraft colliding in clear weather in the capital city is an unacceptable failure. The families of those deserve answers. The aviation community deserves reform, and the nation must ensure that such a tragedy is never repeated.